I'm Venkatesham and welcome to Venkatesham Chemistry YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm going to discuss about collision theory. So this collision theory is proposed by the Arrhenius scientist to find out the rate of the reaction. He has carried out there is an n number of experiments, and based on that he has given the some important postulates in the collision theory, or this collision theory, it is also called as a Arrhenius reaction rate theory. In that first one is every chemical reaction is taking place between the reactant molecules based on the collisions among the reactant molecules only. There is a chemical reaction is taking place between them, right? A chemical reaction is taking place between the reactant molecules. When they are colliding with each other, that collisions will bring the chemical change among them, and it leads to the formation of product is a first important postulate. And here next one is the number of collisions that can be taking place per second per unit area volume. That number of collisions is called as it's a collision frequency. That is called as it's a collision frequency. Collision frequency is nothing but the number of collisions that can be taking place per second per unit area volume is it's a collision frequency. Generally this collision frequency can be represented by a symbol Z, and here collision frequency for the bimolecular reactions. Bimolecular reactions in the sense the reactions which are taking place between the two reactant molecules. Such a reactions are the bimolecular reactions. For bimolecular reactions, generally it's a collision frequency values are in the range of 10 power 25 to its values are in the range of 10 power 25 to 10 power 28. So its value is very high. For the bimolecular reactions, that values are in the range of 10 power 25 to 10 power 28, right? And the next one is every collision between the reactant molecule will not bring a chemical change in the reactant molecules. These are the A and B are reactant molecules, C and D are the product. Every collision between the reactant molecules will not bring a chemical change among the reactants, and it will not form a product, right? The collision which will bring the chemical change among the reactant, and that leads to the formation of product. Such a collision is called as it's a effective collision. Such a collisions are called as it's a effective collisions. Effective collision. What is mean by effective collision? The collisions among the reactant molecules which will bring the chemical change and that leads to the formation of product. Such a collisions are called as it's a effective collisions. And other one is even we have all the collisions will not bring a chemical change. Some of the collisions which will not bring a chemical change among the reactants, such a collisions are called as ineffective collisions. Ineffective collisions. These ineffective collisions, they can collide themselves and they can move randomly in a different direction, right? So these effective collisions only will result the formation of product. These ineffective collisions, they can collide and each other and they can move in a randomly in a different directions, right? So here these ineffective collisions, to make it into the effective collisions, Arrhenius proposed that mainly two important barriers. One is the energy barrier is one, and other one is the orientation barrier. Orientation is nothing but direction, right? So we'll discuss one by one the collisions which can cross this energy barrier and orientation barrier, and that will leads to the formation of product. To make this ineffective collisions into the effective collisions, and definitely they have to cross this energy barrier and orientation barrier. Here first we'll discuss about this energy barrier. Energy barrier. So what is mean by this energy barrier? And every chemical reaction is definitely it is possessing the some energy barrier. Here I am taking that this energy on the y-axis, and the progress of the reaction is on the this x-axis, and here are some definitely here it is in energy barrier EB. Okay, so each and every chemical reaction is definitely associated with some energy barrier. Here if you take this is an A plus B are the reactants and this one is a C plus D, and this is the energy barrier for this one. Right now this energy barrier, under this energy barrier we have here threshold energy. Threshold energy is 1. What is meant by this threshold energy? Threshold energy is nothing but the minimum amount of energy that the reactant molecules must possess to occur the chemical reaction, to bring the chemical change among the reactants. The reactant molecules must and should possess the some minimum amount of energy. That minimum amount of energy is called as it's a threshold energy. Generally it can be represented by a symbol ET. Threshold energy is nothing but the minimum amount of energy that the reactant molecules should possess to occur a chemical reaction. That particular minimum amount of energy is it's a threshold energy. Generally it can be represented by a symbol this ET, right? Even these reactant molecules, A is one reactant molecule, this is another reactant molecule, they can make the collisions and these collisions effective collisions are the ineffective collisions. These effective collisions directly they can cross this energy barrier and it forms the product. Whereas the ineffective collisions are these ineffective collisions will come to the certain extent and then there they can disperse and it can move randomly in a different directions, right? So these collisions will goes to the certain extent and whose energy is not sufficient to cross that energy barrier, and they can disperse in such a way into the different directions. Such a collisions are the ineffective collisions. The additional amount of energy for the reactant molecules to make ineffective collisions into the effective collisions. Whatever the additional amount of energy is supplied, no, this additional amount of energy is called as it's a activation energy. Activation energy. What is mean by this activation energy? Activation energy is simply the amount of energy, the additional amount of energy that must be supplied to the reactant molecules to make ineffective collisions into the effective collisions, to cross this energy barrier, to make the chemical reaction occur. That particular additional amount of energy is it's a activation energy. This activation energy can be represented by a symbol. There is an EA, right? To make the reactant molecules collisions into activation, this additional amount of energy is supplied. That is called as activation energy. So there is a relation between this threshold energy and activation energy. Generally this threshold energy ET is equals to, it is an activation energy minus this is a average kinetic energy of reactant molecules. Average kinetic energy of reactant molecules, right? So this is a relation between the threshold energy and the activation energy. Threshold energy is equals to activation energy minus average kinetic energy of reactant molecules, right? So now and based on this activation energy and the threshold energy, the two terms will comes under this particular energy barrier. This energy criteria alone does not explain that effectiveness of the collision, and even the orientation barrier also plays an important role. Orientation barrier, right? So this orientation barrier also plays an important role. Why? Because energy alone does not explain the effectiveness of the collision, and definitely that reactant molecule should be properly oriented. These properly oriented molecules will make the more effective collisions, and there is a rate of the reaction is going to be faster, right? So now and here in the orientation is nothing but that is in a direction. In this direction the reactant molecule should be properly oriented and improperly oriented. Suppose I am taking this generalized reaction, A plus B gives rise to C plus D. Here A reactant molecule and this is a B reactant molecule. So if they are coming in a proper orientation, so A is coming like this and B is coming like this, so both are proper orientation. This kind of orientation is a proper orientation, and if it is in a A is a front, back, there is in a B is there. Here it is in a A and here back, so this is in a B is there. If this A and A only can make the collision, back of that B will not make a collision with the other B. So that's the reason, and this is a improper orientation. This is a proper orientation and this one is an improper orientation. Then orientation, how the orientation can be explained based on that probability. We don't know that how many molecules are properly oriented and how many are improperly oriented. So it is purely in a probability factor. This orientation is it is purely in a probability factor. Considering these all the postulates, Arrhenius is given that rate of reaction is directly proportional to the it's a collision frequency and F. Z is nothing but which is a collision frequency, whereas F is nothing but that is in a fraction of molecules that will undergo the effective collisions. This F value from the kinetic molecular theory of gas equation will get that F is equals to e power minus Ea by RT. So e power minus Ea by RT will get, you can substitute in this one here, rate of reaction is equals to, so that is in Z into, where it is the e power minus Ea by RT, right? So but actually this Z is a collision frequency, and to explain the rate of reaction further, this orientation factor or the probability factor is P was introduced by the Arrhenius, and this orientation factor or probability factor, orientation factor also plays an important role, or orientation also plays an important role. That's the reason this orientation of the reactant molecules can explain this orientation factor or the probability factor, that also introduced by the Arrhenius in the above rate equation. Here rate of reaction is equals to, this is a P into Z and into this is a e power minus Ea by RT. So here Ea is a simple activation energy, R is a simple constant and T is a temperature, and Arrhenius is introduced the another constant by taking the P into Z, and that is a simply a Arrhenius constant. Arrhenius constant A is equals to, this is a P into Z is a 1, and P is a probability factor and Z is a collision frequency, and we know that generally rate of reaction is directly proportional to its rate constant also. You can write here, so instead of rate constant, rate of reaction, you can write K is equals to, this is a into e power minus Ea by RT. So this is a simple equation. So that is the rate constant K is equals to A into e power minus Ea by RT. Here A is a Arrhenius constant, K is a rate constant, that is directly proportional to rate of reaction. A is activation energy and R is a constant and T is a temperature, right? So the drawbacks of collision theory or demerits of collision theory. So mainly here some important drawbacks are there. Generally this collision theory is applicable only for the gaseous phase reactions. The gaseous reactions only this collision gaseous reactions only this collision theory is going to be applicable. And the second one is and it is applicable only for the bimolecular reactions. Bimolecular reactions is nothing but only for the two reactant molecule containing reactions only this collision theory is applicable. For the complex reactions, and generally this collision theory is not applicable. And collision theory does not consider the energy changes. Energy changes during the bond breaking and bond making. It does not consider the any energy changes during the bond breaking between the reactant molecules and bond making the in the products, right? So it neglects the energy changes in the during the bond breaking and bond making. And another one is it neglects the rotational energies and vibrational energies. So because these reactant molecules are making collisions with another reactant molecules, in such a way there is a rotational energy and vibrational energies also involving, but this rotational energy and vibrational energy is neglected in this theory. And another one is according to this particular collision theory, there is a rate of decomposition of there is an Hi and here it is an N2O5. We are getting the same, but practically they are different. So the rate of decomposition of hydrogen iodide and N2O5 is going to be the same according to this theory, but actually experimentally they are having the different rates. Correct.